Hey guys, just having some crackers with Vegemite, the great Aussie tradition. I grew up on this stuff. Lots of packed lunches with Vegemite. Well, actually, I tell a lie. My mum wasn't really the packed lunch type. In fact, I used to actually get up and write my own lunch orders at about 8 o'clock and then walk to school. My mum used to sleep in until about 9:30 or 10 every day. Of course, I wouldn't order the healthiest lunches. It was either a hot dog, a meat pie, a sausage roll, and always usually a chocolate Big M to go with it. That went on for years. Think about how unhealthy it was now. And a licorice twist, which is a piece of licorice with chocolate around it as well. Can't imagine having that every day for lunch now. Used to have McDonald's twice a week as well. Kind of mended my ways a bit though with diet. I think you have to when it's... Personally, for me anyway, I mean... I can tell if I'm eating a lot of crap. A lot of soft drink. A lot of chocolate. Just not proper meals. You really, I can kind of feel what I would call... What would I call it? Like a haze or a fog, a slight fog in my thinking. And sometimes I still get it, but I think if I can eat reasonably well, get a little bit of sleep, then I'm, for the most part, can think pretty clearly. But I definitely do notice swings in my thinking. And sometimes I don't know the forces that control it, but just be some biological, chemicals in the body or whatever. Ace 9 here, I think I will open for a little min. It's actually a pretty good spot for a min raise here. This guy might have his OCM calculator out, be trying to work out what to do. He knows you can't just raise fold at M5. Well, maybe he's Hollywooding with a big hand. Wants people to think he has a close decision. So I think that's pretty unlikely when he takes this long. Looks like he's not there. Should be. This is not the first hand from the break. We just had one hand right. Yeah. I think. Didn't we? Good spot for aces, bottom right there. Really good spot. I guess I'm gonna... Just trying to work out what looks weaker here. I think a 3-bet might even look stronger than a jam here. I think a jam can be pocket 7s and, you know, ace jack, and I think a 3-bet is kind of close where it doesn't really look like we're 3-betting to fold, and it just looks like we want action. Good to see snap folds around. Can't imagine this guy's going to 3-bet us too light here. These depths with the big line stacked to the way it is, but hey, what do I know? He might get and mix it up a bit. Wow. I'm going to fire fairly hard here. Because I want to try and fold out some small pairs, or maybe ace jack, king queen. I think you can have ace queen and ace jack a lot there. Can have small pairs too some of the time. Jack 9 and jack queen is probably not as likely. Ace queen. He could have 9s and even jacks and just be playing carefully, I guess, some of the time. Maybe ace 10. I think I'm going to bet again here and try and fold out 7s and things like that. 6s. Maybe if you got stubborn with ace king. It's annoying. I think he could be trapping, or he can have a really big hand like queens, and I don't think there's much we can do now. It's a little bit annoying if he's got 9s. I think he probably has 9s a lot too, but we do have a 9 blocker. But I just think, you know, betting here, I probably want to bet big. And I just think that it's probably too risky, because once he calls turn, we might be able to fold out 9s, but queens he may hero. He can have jacks or like 8s, ace 10 suited. I'd be pretty annoyed if he's got 7s and just stationed us down. I think big stack on big stack, he's more likely... Wow, he has heroed us with ace queen, so that's pretty sick. I thought he would probably just fold that on the flop, to be honest. That's why I actually tried to bet the size I did, was to get him to fold that type of specific hand, but hey, what do I know, it didn't work at all. Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty bad call on the flop by him, obviously. Pretty horrendous. I mean, he's... yeah, it's just ugly. What can I say about it? It's just very, very ugly. In this type of situation, I think it's pretty nasty. And you know, if we bet river, I guess he's going to fold. I guess he's going to fold. But I think it would have been a little bit risky, because it looked like he may have just been controlling with a big hand. And now we know he's actually a little bit sticky. Just so hard for him on that, I think, on that flop to really, I mean, Yeah, I mean, yeah. Check calling out of position from the small blind. You know my thoughts about that. It is the secret to losing poker. But he managed a hero there. And yeah, if I had known he was that stationy, certainly betting river is a possibility. But like I said, there's just that possibility that he's trapping us with jacks or even tens, I guess. Ace 10. Eights. And like I said, I mean, he could even have something like queens or... Wow. I guess he's got the jack of clubs, right? The 7. This guy is a huge station. I wish I had have known that earlier. I would not have opted to fire the second barrel. In hindsight, it was kind of a bad card for us, obviously. I think I will just bet here against King Paulie. He does a few fishy things. I wouldn't say he's a donk, but I think... yeah, I don't know why he doesn't get more value there, but anyway. He's going for control. Maybe, maybe he could be opening that. It's pretty close. Wow. Cope just... Oh, I was getting confused with who this guy was. My bad. My very bad. Yeah. Colombia, yeah, okay. There's a guy that has the same image that's a Supernova Elite and from Russia. For some reason I thought it was him. And I know that he wouldn't be afraid to jam. Especially since he knows we'd be opening pretty wide. And for some reason I just thought it was him, but it's a Colombian guy and he's not even Supernova Elite. He's only Supernova. So, have to make sure we stay on the ball here. Wow, we've got this never let go jack limping now. And he is a potential gold mine. It's a pity we lost all those chips before, because we were nice and deep. But I think the equity we had with the up and down, fold equity, we can check, and take the free card and try and hit, but, we just cap our range and never really can get folds after that. I think I will raise here. And if Mr. Colombia jams, wow. That is going to be a close one. Lucky he folded because it just would have been really close, I think. It's interesting that he did just flat with the ace queens too, so we know he's... Even though he was very passive, stationary post, at least we know that he... we know that he's not like a sick overplaying guy pre-flop. He has just seen us barrel with nothing, so we're definitely going to bet kind of big here and try and get value. I think if he's got any ace, he's definitely going to call down here. And he hasn't actually been defending... Well, we don't really have enough history on him, but... It's unfortunate. I think it would have been maybe 3 streets if he had an ace, based on his performance so far. Yeah, it's kind of unfortunate, I guess. You know, it's better if, especially this guy here who's been kind of tight, has all the chips, really, and we can get him heads up and chip away at him, rather than letting the shorter stacks survive. If we were a big stack, I probably wouldn't mind too much, because we can get more leverage against the mediums and short stacks and, you know, just go about sort of bullying them and picking up a lot of dead money, but we're not really in a position to do that because we're only M12-ish, just over, so yeah, I think if we had 400k then, 400 or 500k, then I don't really mind the short stacks hanging around and the chips being kind of distributed out a bit. Probably just raise here, I think, against you know, gambling. Kids seems like it's been very tight. He seems like he's waiting relatively. Well, you know, which is not necessarily a bad strategy. Now he's got ahead of made a liar of me and pumped it up. Hasn't really been that active, has he? Raise first turn. Kind of a bit of a stinky raise the way it just suddenly popped out, isn't it? I will try it. It's a little bit risky because I just said he's been kind of tight, but it's kind of hard for him to jam though. I mean, you can have a monster, but I think given our image, the fact that he's supernova, he probably has some idea. Yeah, I mean, the thing is it only has to work 50% of the time. So if it was, you know, I think it does work 50% is basically what I'm thinking, but I'm not really thinking that anymore once he clicks it back. It looks like he does have the monster. Wow, and he shows us a 7, so he's taken it next level. I wonder if he had 7s and he was just, I guess he maybe had 7s. And he was just, you know, I guess I was kind of correct in that he's capable of taking it next level. He obviously did, but he took it even a level deeper than I expected. And I can't believe he clicked it back at that stack depth. And I can only imagine that he's going to call off because he cannot fold once he clicks it back. So I'm guessing he... Well, I mean, surely he's not going to fold at that point because he's got more than half his stack in. Effective, the stack is ours. And, you know, I think it's a good read by him, but it's a kind of a bit of a crazy spew at the same time because if we do actually have a hand that we're getting it in with, and he plans on folding, I mean, he's got 124. I mean, he has to call, so I guess he's got 7s. And he's just deciding that he's going to, rather than just jam, he's going to re-click and try and look extra strong. I guess. I mean, if he's got a 7, then that would be out of this world. That would be, because, I mean, I just don't see him ever fold. He can't fold given the pot odds once he clicks it. So even if he's got a7 of clubs, I mean, at that point he has to call off. So he did take it next level, and I raised a size that I thought it was kind of impossible for him to do that, but he did find a way. He's from the Ukraine, so So I don't know. I mean, it's a good read. I just think it's a little bit unnecessary, though. Yeah, I mean, it's a good read, but he really has to commit his entire, well, the effective stack of vowels, and if he's wrong, I mean, he's just completely crippled. And he's in a position where, I mean, he's in a very nice position, where he's got a massive donkey who's the chip leader, never let go Jack, and he's got guys around him that are playing, pretty tight. He may kind of see us there as a bit of a hindrance, and they may be kind of keen to try and get rid of us, and that could spur him on a bit. But it's certainly, I do like that sort of action. It does get me, you can probably tell, I'm kind of a little bit excited. I like to see the 4 and 5 and 6 bets, and a little bit of metagame, really, isn't it? Bit of metagame going on. King 4. What a champ. I guess I'm going to bet kind of small and try and get some value bottom left here. And that King 4 guy, I mean, he just completely spazzed out. I mean, he's got no fold equity. He's against UTG. What is going through his mind? I'm guessing not a lot. I'm guessing not a lot. It's kind of like he's just sick of us. Oh, you raising my big blind again? What about this, King 4? I don't know. I really don't know. Maybe he's just so short. He's like, well, that's it. I'm so short, I'm just going to donk off my stack. Wow, this is a tough spot. Bottom left. I wonder if he ever turns a hand into a bluff here. It'd be magnificent if he does, but I think he should probably just some sort of random donk, this guy. So I'm probably going to fold the bet, especially the way he's tanking now. Yeah, if he had a bet, I probably would have folded, but he didn't quite have the kahunas to pull through. And we bet so small on the flop, he did call with his 5s and kind of turn them into a bluff. But I guess once we check call turn, he figures that we've probably got a. He probably figures that we've got a an ace, one of those pointy cards, an ace, and it's a pity the ace actually came top right now, because I think we could have got a lot of value here. Be good to get a little 3-bet here by Gambling Kid. Try and get a little bit of payback. I think it's, yeah. Yeah, I mean, if never let go Jack 3-bet, I mean, that's kind of what we don't want to see. I don't think that play is going to 3-bet. I don't think they're going to get too out of line. This is where it gets a little bit tricky, because we've been raising so much. We look a little bit wild, but at the same time, we have pocket 8s, which is not garbage. And this player has been super, super, super tight. I think I'm just going to keep... Well, am I? Yeah, we'll check. A little bit of a dangerous flop. I think ace queen and king queen and jack queen suited, and maybe 6s and 7s as well, are all kind of part of their the range that they might have. Having said that, our hand needs some protection, so I did go and bet. They're pretty tight. Well, actually, they're actually calling a little bit loose from the button. Button here. It's 5. They're actually calling pretty loose from the button. Actually just don't raise a lot, but they do actually play pretty passively with calls. So that does make it a little bit tricky here, doesn't it? They've raised pretty quick. Kind of representing a pretty thin range here, aren't they? Ace, Queen, King, Queen maybe doesn't want to mess around. They do only have 2 stars. So, I mean, they could be capable of a variety of overplays, silly bluffs, all sorts of things like that. I think if I'm going to play that hand, I think I might actually re-raise the flop. Because I think if we just call, there's so many bad turn cards, and they might just barrel because we've only flatted, and all these players just aren't really thinking, what does he flat with? They just think, oh well, I have to bet again because I don't have anything, and so I don't know. I mean, we could call and hope they shut down, but it's getting a little bit awkward with the SPR. The reason why I didn't re-click it is because it's kind of half our stack. We don't know too much about this player, and if we re-raise and fold, I mean, it's kind of pretty ugly. Yeah, and some of the time, you know, they can have diamonds. Was it diamonds? Or am I just telling a lie there? Yeah, I mean, some of the time they can have diamonds and shove with like ace jack of diamonds, which is, but we're actually, you know, 3-betting the flop to fold, which is kind of catastrophic because the pot odds are huge, but we'd be folding. I think it's pretty close. I think it's pretty close whether they'd be bluffing or actually have a hand there. Just the way the bet flew out and the sizing, 60,000. It didn't really feel right to me, but you know, they could have just had ace, you know, ace queen, king queen, I guess, and just not want to mess around. Yeah, I don't know. Actually, I'm feeling bluff. What are you guys feeling? I'm kind of feeling bluff a little bit now. But they did get terrific leverage from the stack. I mean, that's for sure. They really did get good leverage. And that's just one of the problems. When you have that stack size and get attacked, as we did. So it's been kind of a bit of a roller coaster. Went up and then went back down. Yeah, it's been a little bit unfortunate. Yeah, that's that 4-bet. You know, when he took it next level, that play. I mean, that was it was pretty sick by him. And that did cost us a bit, but I think that I don't really regret it, to be honest. You know, just the way his bet did just sort of quickly fly out. It did look a bit kind of bluffy, and we've just been raising so often, and I don't think he's going to let us. It's a little bit awkward. I mean, it's not awkward. What's the word I'm looking for? It's kind of it's a little bit of a mind read. It's a little bit of a mind read because we said he's been kind of tight, so we really have to sort of mind read to anticipate that he's now all of a sudden going to attack. But just the sizing and the fact that we were button and we've been raising a lot and he's supernova lead, and she's supernova. It just kind of felt, you know, just kind of felt like he was up to something. You know, which is debatable. I mean, if he has pocket sevens, I mean, against our opening range, it's debatable. I mean, it's kind of not really up to too much. I mean, he does have a pretty strong hand for the situation. But when you're considering the action, he's definitely up to something when he clicks it back. And it's just a pretty easy ICM jam, I think. We don't want to raise and let him jam on us. We just want to keep the initiative with a hand that's fairly playable. Well, not playable, but has good showdown value. Is what I meant to say there.